grew some ugly looking, creatures on it, like bugs and all just horrible things on this sheet. And he said he heard the voice of the Lord say, Peter, kill and eat that. Now there were certain things in the old covenant here in the Old Testament that the Jews weren't supposed to eat or partake of because it was considered unclean. Okay? But see, God was trying to show Peter that his perception of people was limited because at that time they were only sharing this good news to just the Jews only. See, there are some churches, see the LGBT community has had to set up their own segregated church because the quote normal church don't accept them, say that they're not right, but yet there are whole churches worshiping Jesus, LGBT group. How come that? They love the Lord too. Sometimes they love the Lord more than quote the conventional people do. So I'm just bringing that example. Now that's just one. I got a whole lot of other scriptures up because God took me through this, had to retrain me. He says, son, okay, those are my people. I love them. Now you may have a problem. I don't have a problem no more because see, I like God and I like him to like me too. So I'm open to be corrected, change, everything. Usually speaking, if I'm doing something that I could do better, I want to know what to do. Okay? Because God told me, look, if you want to move further to be intimate with me, you're going to have to be much more open than what you are. You can't confine me to your little peanut belief system. That's what he said, a little peanut belief system you got, trying to contain me in your churches and in, son, I'm like the wind. You heard anybody try to contain the wind? Impossible. It's everywhere. So this is how you begin to correct your perception. Once you have an unlimited open perception and it's rooted in God, you're going to pretty much be open to all kinds of people. Okay, now, if there are people, okay, now, so the first step I said what? Read the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John first. Because that will show you Jesus. Jesus, and this is my personal belief and my personal opinion. I'm not saying this is the only way to discover him, but I'm sharing how I found him. And I believe that Jesus is the real Jesus now, the real Jesus of the scriptures, not of the churches. It's a little different. Now, God loves the people in the churches, but you're going to see a lot of bad stuff taking place there, okay? All right? So that's what I'm saying. You got to know this for you, not because you go to this church, that church. Find Jesus. That's for you. Amen. And I'm telling you, today you can find it on the internet, everything. And if you begin to read and approach it with an open-minded heart as though this is the first time you've read it and you didn't know this, he will make sure understanding comes into your mind. And it will change you about you. One of the things that you will begin to feel, you'll begin to feel physically, emotionally better about yourself. That's what he does. Okay? You have to be happy with you. If there's changes that need to be made, and if there's bad stuff going on in your personal life, gradually that stuff will drop. Some of you got problems with pornography, not just drugs. Pornography, that's another big a god of this, one of the gods of this world, because it makes a lot of money. Gambling, that's another god. Now that's what I consider a god of this world, because a lot of people do it and they enjoy it. I'm not calling you a bad person. I'm just saying sometimes all those things become addictions to people. That they can't quit.
They take first place.
They take first place. There you go. And not your happiness or not your... See, when God becomes God, the creator, he'll become like a father to you. That's the first level. No, the first level is God creator. That's sort of a general relationship. Church, the Bible, reading and praying, those are good. That's kind of a general starting place. But as you stay focused along those lines, you enter into a deeper relationship. See, the change is never him. It's just you, you changing. Now you're going to start calling him Father.
Amen.
Okay, because that's how he makes you feel. That's how you feel. Okay, but then there's even deeper relationships. You become like friendships. He does, and I'm telling you from my personal experience, because I've had a lot of bad stuff happen over the course of my 63 years of living, but now I got mostly good stuff. Now I still have some challenges and problems that go on, but my perception of the problems are no longer like I'm worried. Okay, and I was taught how not to worry. Now let me clarify this. Now I'm not saying if you have a problem, just forget about it. No, I'm not telling you to do that. If there's something wrong with your physical body, this is what I believe you should do first. Number one is pray that God will make you better. And even if you don't know where it is in the Bible, it don't matter. You just feel it in you that you should be well. I would ask God, please make me better. Just that simple. It is just that simple. I do this continually. Now, let me give you a practical example, something not so serious. Brenda and I went to a beautiful place yesterday here in Southern California it was Saturday, we just wanted to browse around, maybe shop and be among, people. Generally speaking, I like people and I tend to talk a lot. I have to kind of control myself because I get so excited and I could just meet anybody like anywhere and strike up a conversation and we'll be there all day. But I was with my lovely wife, Brenda, and what happened? Oh, we went to a restaurant. And this place is beautiful. I mean, it's clean. It just made me feel good. Okay, because it was clean and they had a nice new looking restaurant right on the corner, Mexican place, Mexican food. And we smelt this food and said, boy, this is where we need to go. It was a good draw. And it looked good, and there was tons of people in there. Everybody was happy, drinking and eating and everything. So we sat down, and I ordered, Brenda ordered, and as I sat. Now let me show you. This is how God works. God is God, but He doesn't take over your life. Not like that. Okay, it's still up to you and me what we want to do. See, we can do anything. He generally will let you just do anything. Now, when you get close with Him, though, and I have learned, even when I don't know what to do, He's got it covered. And then later He teaches me, yeah, I already blocked that, and this is why, and this is where you need to check. That's a friend. I mean, that's really a good friend because I could have got hurt. So what I'm saying is there is a place in God where He just will like you, that he won't allow no harm to come to you when normally you should have been killed. Okay?
Yes.
And that is actually scripture. Mm-hmm. Okay, Daniel was thrown in with a bunch of lions, and the lions didn't eat him, for example. Then the Hebrew children, they were thrown in fire, and the fire didn't burn them. So I'm just saying I believe stuff like that, maybe not that extreme, can happen in our lives too. We got a lot of cars on the road just speeding all over the place, and we never get hit. Mm-hmm. Okay? Sometimes you think, oh, wow, maybe I should have got hit there, but I didn't. Okay, so what I'm saying, God, there's these unseen forces at work that protect you. And there are scriptures. Psalm 91. My Brenda's got a whole board on the wall where you got to see that every day. I mean, these are things that help keep our perception focused. And you don't have to work at it hard. Life should flow like a river.
You were saying about the restaurant.
Oh, let me finish that. The restaurant. So we go into this restaurant, and I love tacos. All right. I actually like the hard shell tacos, but I'll settle with the soft shells. They don't have the hard ones. And I had beef, and so the food came. And first, before the food, was the chips. Now, I am very picky with my food. Okay, I believe it should always be hot and steaming if it's cooked. I like the steaming because that's the savory of it. You know, I like the smell. See, I like the whole experience of eating. You know, I like to have all my, when I'm done, I don't like to have the table plates taken. I like to leave it all out there. It's the sign of a feast, see? But in a lot of places, they don't do that. They think it's offensive to leave empty plates on the table. But when we got this food, when I took a bite, the food was lukewarm. It wasn't hot. I was devastated, to be honest with you. I was so devastated. Brenda could look at me and tell, like, honey, what's wrong? I said, gee, honey, I'm devastated. The food is cold. The beans were like ice cold. I never said nothing. I ate them because I was hungry. The beans were cold, the rice was cold, and the beef, it felt like they brought it back from last week somewhere. It was horrible. And the thing is look, I don't mind spending extra money for good food. And those prices were relatively high. The good thing about that whole experience, well, there were two things. Number one, I was with my lovely wife, Brenda. I love going out with her all the time. But number two was I got out of that restaurant not paying that much money. Because I was looking at something more. I mean, we could have spent, I don't know, maybe about 40, 50 bucks at least. Okay. But I think we got out under 40, something like that, 30. It was a lot less. So all I'm saying, people, I'm going to let you go. Just try.
You were going to say about God how we didn't ask him
to
guide our choice in the restaurant.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, so
before you end.
Yeah. Okay, what Brenda's trying to get me to share is this thing of perception. I'm going to give you I call it a practice that I think most people do it on big decisions, like who should I marry? Should I live here or should I take this career? Those are major choices. But like everyday things, like where should we go out to eat? You want to try a new place to eat. If you just pause and stop yourself a minute and ask the Lord, ask God, say, God, I'm thinking about going out to eat today. Where would be the best place to go at this time for the least amount of money? Okay,
or the best food.
Or the best food. And it won't cost me, a ton of money. I think that's a good request. Did you know, as you go ahead and move about, you listen and you feel yourself inside. You kind of feel, and then you pay attention to the thoughts start coming to your mind. Because that's him influencing you. He communicates that way. He communicates through your feelings, inside, outside, and in your mind. He's God. So we didn't do that. We did not do that. All we felt is that we're hungry. Here's a place right here. We smelt the food. See the sensory perception?
I just saw the people.
She just saw the people, but I was smelling it. So my senses was going off the chain. We hadn't eaten for at least 12 hours or so. But let me just say this. As we went into the restaurant, Brenda made a statement. She says, honey, there's Outback. There was an Outback restaurant right down the street, across the street. I looked at it, and I faintly felt that's where you should go. But we overrode that because we were already there and we decided to go. So see, those are things about learning how to follow God in your life. See,
yes.
Now that takes practice, but if you begin to practice on these everyday items, things that you're doing, ask God, Lord, change up your routine, change up your ritual. Maybe you should go somewhere else, but you don't know. Just sit down somewhere and say, well, Lord, I'm thinking about going to the park or going to the beach or riding the bikes or going to do this. Is this the best time to do this? Yes or no, or maybe later, or maybe not this day. Just start practicing it and keep